Hey, everybody. Welcome. Good morning. Hello. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Looking forward to an awesome broadcast this morning. I'm Tisha Marie Johnson, founder and creator of Your Love of a Lifetime, helping you manifest true and lasting love. And so I'm here. I'm so honored. My coach, the best coach on the planet, Danielle Winningham, allows us to go live and launch on her platform. So I'm excited to be here today. And I have a very special guest I will introduce in just a few moments. But listen, go ahead, share the broadcast. If you're on Periscope, hey, I'm going to see you in a minute. If you're on YouTube, on Facebook, please share the broadcast. We're really excited. This is the What He Really Wants Relationship Summit. And so I'm excited this morning. I'm having conversations with wives. So it's wisdom from wives because listen, as women, especially if you want to be married or in a successful relationship, you need some wisdom from somebody who's been there, done that, got the cookie, the t-shirt to prove it. So I have gathered together some very incredible women that are in my life, and I'm excited. They're going to be sharing from their experience, their expertise, and I'm looking forward to an amazing conversation today. So, listen, I want you to share, and I am going to share as well in just a moment. But I have a very special young lady with me. I'm going to, let me see. What should I do? Now, she sent me her bio. I probably should read some of that. So just so that you know, and then I'm gonna let her introduce herself. So she was born and raised in the city of Inkster, Michigan. Michigan. So we're excited, Michigan in the house. If you are from the 313, the 586, the 248, the 810, go ahead and drop it below in the comments. But she graduated from Wayne Memorial High School. She obtained her bachelor's of science in kinesiology from the University of Michigan. We still gonna love her because she went to U of M. It's okay though, because I'm an MSU girl. So from there, she got her master's of physician assistant studies from Wayne State University. And so she promotes health and wellness, even through challenging circumstances. She is a certified physician assistant and has been since 2004. She's worked in various surgical specialties, including trauma. She is also experienced in emergency adult and addiction medicine. She is the founder and CEO of, um, I'm sorry, the PH Heal. Did I say that right? Okay. Okay. Nonprofit organization named in honor of her late husband, who was a Detroit police officer and also a coworker of mine. She has a book. She's an author, and it's titled I Am Health and Wellness, a 30-day journey and daily devotional that she wrote to help her patients live a healthy and awesome life. So she also has a 501c3 organization, I Am With You. She's going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some health and wellness. We're going to talk about some wife stuff. So again, would you welcome my special guest, Mrs. Diagi Hill? Welcome.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I was actually honored to be invited. It caught me off guard. It was like, whoa, I got some wisdom to share with somebody about being a wife. But yes, you hit it. I am a certified physician assistant. I've been working for about 16 years now. And I was married 12 years before I lost my late husband. And yeah, I'm just honored to be here. I have 4 children that I've been managing. I do some type of weight loss groups that I help people lose weight, but I help people kind of just refocus on themselves. The key is, when you're looking for somebody or looking for to have a partner, you kind of got to be whole on the inside first before you can invite somebody else in to be to make a whole with. So that's kind of where I kind of do the one ended half, but I can definitely extend the knowledge a little bit when it goes to being married and what that would entail. I did learn a lot.
Awesome, awesome. So, this is the What He Really Wants Relationship Summit, and I want to educate women who probably have a different understanding of what marriage and committed relationship, covenant relationship looks like. I know when I got married the first time, I was 21 and I didn't know anything, and it would have helped to have some information. So that's one of the purposes of this conversation this morning. So, did you know everything you needed to know before you got married?
Oh, absolutely not. I didn't know anything. I think that I was being young. I think I was 20. I'm gonna say 23 when I got married. I think I was around 22, 23 when I got married, and the key is I just kind of wanted the timelines of life to happen. I had already graduated. Was with my college sweetheart. I had actually already had a son, but then I met my college sweetheart. So I just wanted to fulfill the timeline of life. I had no idea what marriage meant. I did not understand that. I just knew that you needed to be married and have a family after you graduate college, and that was kind of where I was. And God kind of blessed me with a great husband, but I wish I would have had a little bit more knowledge before we actually dove into that, right? Um,
Right.
yeah, it's just some little key things. It's just that I don't even think that we were necessarily ready to be married at that time. God just allowed that thing to happen. But I think that if I know better now, the key would be make sure you're whole first. You can't go into a marriage looking to complete yourself. You need to be complete before you get married.
Wow, I'm glad you said that because there is this thought that I'm gonna find my other half and then we're gonna come together and we're gonna be whole. And it's the absolute opposite. You have to be whole. They need to be whole and preferably healed. Now, when you've been in a situation where you've had to deal with your own unresolved issues and you deal with that person's unresolved issues, that can be a mess.
It's a whole
And
lot of unresolved everything, right?
exactly. And so you said it, the key is to get healed so that you go into it and you make a different decision. And what I found is that had I been a little more whole, a little more healed, I would have made a different decision.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I know that. So healing internally is absolutely the thing that needs to happen.
Yeah.
So as you are going through this process, the stages of life, what kind of challenges did you find being a young mother and young early? Well, married early, I should say.
So the biggest thing, hindsight is always 2020. So looking back at things and I look over things, and I've always been a spiritual person. I think the one thing that was missing is always having God first, then letting my concern with God, then concern myself, and then concern the marriage and everything that will come to pass. Because I think at some point when you get married and you're the mom and you're doing things, you're really focused on yourself and the marriage and the kids. God is in there somewhere, but God is not necessarily your first. And if God stays the first and then you take care of you, everything else tends to fall in place. And I think that was a huge thing that was missing. I look back at that, and I mean, I just think about even when I got pregnant and then you just kind of let yourself go. I had gained a lot of weight and I wasn't eating right. And, that brought a lot of stress, not just, I mean, it was more stress for me, but then of course stress within a marriage because, you know, now you got a husband who's dealing with his own stressors of work, and he's a police officer, so he's dealing with his own things, and I'm dealing with my own things. So as far as like the marriage goes, it's like, yeah, that happy being in the carriage with the horses, that's not happening with the white picket fence because everybody's dealing with their own issues. But one key thing I think is making sure you keep God first and then take care of yourself. Then in the process, everything else will fall in place.
Of course, they say hindsight is 2020. Um, from the perspective that you are now, especially because you got married younger, the millennials are waiting longer. Thankfully, hopefully, they will, do the work necessary so that they can have that successful relationship. But looking back on it, what you mentioned purpose. What else would you have wanted to have the knowledge of, or have wanted to be in place before you made that commitment?
The biggest, can you hear me?
Yep.
The biggest thing was, if I would recommend for somebody is, when you are whole within yourself, you tend to not lose yourself within a relationship. And I think that, um oh, you still there?
Yeah, I can. Your picture is frozen, but I do hear you.
Okay. Yeah, everything just kind of went black on me. I don't know. Um the biggest thing is, I would recommend that people would, you have to, once you have to find who you are within yourself before you can actually go out and venture into trying to be within the relationship. So you have to know what your purpose is, and I think your purpose usually comes again when God has guided you. So if you got God first, your purpose is going to follow no matter what.
Yeah.
I,
That
I'm trying to fix the screen. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. And that's good. I do believe that. Oh, we lost her. Okay, she'll log back in. I certainly can agree with what she said. Having God first, but the thing about having God, and if you aren't in a situation where you're moving toward purpose, then that is definitely something that you have to work towards. So let me do some behind the scenes stuff while she's trying to get back connected. So again, thank you so much for being here. This is the What He Really Wants Relationship Summit. Yes, he's not on this morning, but you got to come back tonight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can hear from him, directly from him. I have a plethora of guests that are going to. Okay. Thank you, Cherie. I have guests that are going to share from their expertise and share from their experience. And I'm really, really excited about that. Listen, you can register for this conference by going to bit.ly/he wants 2020, bit.ly/he wants 2020, so that you can get in the Zoom room, and we will have an after party. So you want to make sure that you connect with us there, and you can get the information and be on the mailing list for the conversations that we're going to have. So each morning, I'm talking to some women who have been there, done that, know about long lasting love. And my guest this morning is Mrs. Diagi Hill, and we are waiting for her to get reconnected. But while we're waiting on her, listen, go ahead and share the broadcast. If you have not shared the broadcast, please do so. And let me speak to some people in the audience. Hey, Dee, thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. I think you started a watch party. That's awesome. Hey, Joanne, thank you so much for joining us and sharing. Hey, Marnie, thanks for sharing. Hey, Chiquita, thank you for sharing as well. Ebony, thank you, sis, for being here. CJ, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you. Hey, Ayoka, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Verlia, hey, Sissy, thanks so much. Thank you for being here. Keisha, welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Let's see who else. Monique, good morning, sis. Thank you so much. And Cherie, thank you for being here. You guys, my sisters is showing up and showing out. I'm not gonna cry, but I'm so excited that they are here, and I appreciate that so much. So, um, thank you for joining us and sharing the broadcast. So, I have my special guest this morning, Diage Hill, and she's sharing about her experience as a wife, and we're gonna get a little bit deeper. But before you left off, can you hear you hear me good?
I can hear you really good.
Okay,
Phone. My laptop didn't like this
okay,
side. We're working.
okay, awesome. Well, you're good. I think depending on what kind of phone, I think you can turn it to the side and it might give you yeah, the full view. Cool. So you were talking about purpose, and what I was sharing was purpose. I wholeheartedly agree that you need to know your purpose. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that the church, and I'm not going to go down no rabbit hole about the church, but I'm not so sure that the church really promotes that and pushes that. You know, it's kind of like if you know, you know, if you don't, you don't. Go figure it out somewhere.
But
But
you mean it doesn't push push for you getting your purpose? You're saying?
right,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. I mean, I maybe it's just the churches that I know of, and I'm not saying that I know of them all because I don't. Um, and I just think you sometimes you're out there on your own and you're having to figure it out. I can certainly say, having done all those things in the church, I still, it was a long time before I knew what my true purpose was. And I'm not faulting the church. I'm just saying if you don't get it from the church, you do have to seek it
But
in other places.
the biggest thing is, when I say God first, I'm not saying church. So I'm not saying,
Right. I got you.
so when I'm saying God first, I'm meaning your relationship with God, which is totally different. And when that
Right.
with God, meaning that the way you pray, the way you get your Bible, the way you meditate, the way you let Him minister to you, you definitely get your purpose. There's no question there because you know that. And then there's never a point where you're kind of on your own because God is with you always. So there's never a time. You just have to kind of tap into it. And my thing is I totally, my purpose was totally led by God, even with the marriage part, because I leaned on Him, not the place, not a ministry, not a whole bunch of people or a pastor trying to tell me something. None of that. Just my personal relationship with God.
Hmm.
That God first thing led me to, okay, I love helping people. This is what makes me feel good. These are the things that I like. And oh my gosh, when I'm at work, I can minister and do different things for God. So that way my purpose for Him, it shined itself. So it kind of flowed. So I was never really, I never felt like I was on my own in purpose. I always knew I wanted to help people because that's something that God will give you. God will give you
Hmm.
He'll give you that gift. You know
Hmm.
what you're good at. The key is, are you doing it for Him? And then as you do it for Him, He'll grow it. It'll,
Yeah.
as that flourishes, your energy will start to attract the right man or the right things that make sense, right? Because my
Right.
help people attracted a guy that wanted to be a police officer, right? Like that was a natural thing. It wasn't, I didn't go out searching for that. It kind of just happened. So I think that if you connect yourself to your higher power and you internalize it, I think it's different. Not necessarily a church, but your relationship with God. You know, it has.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Awesome. And I agree. It's about relationship, not the religious institution, not the building. It truly is relationship. So, you said so much good stuff. Let's go back to you talked about getting married and your weight kind of came on, you were having children, things like that. How would you suggest a woman who maybe is in a situation where she's having children or at that stage, what can she do? Because we know men are visual creatures. So they are, now there's a man, if you a size 2 or a size 42, there's a man that's gonna love you. But I'm just saying, when you find that things are shifting and changing, what would you recommend?
So the biggest thing is, because I think a lot of the energy comes from what is it that I need to do to keep him attracted to me, and I think that discredits the flow of what I suggest. I suggest God first, then you. So instead of focusing on what do I have to do to keep him me, it's what do I have to do to love myself enough to be whole, and that should be what attracts me to him, right? So if you're too busy trying to do everything in your life to make this man like you or want to be with you, you'll always be chasing after the wind, because it's going to always be a flaw or something. So you have to be comfortable enough within yourself to say, you know, I'm doing the things that I'm doing to really make me happy. You know, I want to be me, because I think within my marriage, the thing that I lost was the me. And it all came to pass when I became a widow. It was like, dang, I forgot I like sweet peas. He didn't like sweet peas. I didn't cook sweet peas because he didn't like them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You lose yourself. You do.
Yeah.
You're too busy trying to accommodate for someone else. And I mean, even if you're not married and you're looking to be married, stop accommodating for everybody else. Love yourself first. You know, love God, love you, and you'll attract the right thing towards you. You're not going to accommodate everybody. And the problem with that is, when you start doing the accommodating, you're going to expect somebody else to accommodate for you, and people are who they are. And that was one other thing that I learned, that, you know, and if I could reverse time, I would promise to my husband some things like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I failed in that area. But you know, it's one thing that he would always say, one thing that he said to me, and, you know, it dawned on me, because, you know, you'd have your bickering, and, you know, have the times where it's like, okay, we're not on the same page. And he mentioned something to me. He says, you know, I can't fit your Patrick box. And it's funny, because I did have a Patrick box. My Patrick box had everything that my husband was, and what he should do and shouldn't do, and what he should like. And he was who he was. You know what I'm saying? So no, he's not in my Patrick box. God is not in our God box, right? God is bigger than the box that we put him in. Like, I'm bigger than the box you would put me in. I'm who I am. So instead of putting somebody in the box, just love them for who they are. And in that process, you got to love yourself for who you are. Who are you? Stop putting yourself in a box to make somebody like you. Be who you are and make people fall in love with you for who you are. So that's a little tidbit of thing that I had learned. So no boxes. Don't put people or yourself in a box.
That's good. Don't put people or yourself in a box. Somebody should type that in the comments. That is good. And you're absolutely right. Again, I go back to, oh my goodness, so much I didn't know. And just I didn't know me. You know, I was on that mission to please this person because I hadn't dealt with my unresolved issues. So, you know, unless until you do that, you'll almost be on a hamster wheel that never stops, because you're trying to get validation from them when really it can't come from them. So understand who you are and don't lose yourself. So talk a little bit more about don't lose yourself, because I think as women we have this misconception that I got to give up my life for him. Dee just said she likes combination pizza, but they always ate meat pizza because he liked meat pizza.
Right, right, right. The biggest thing is, I think that um looking back, and I think we somebody had mentioned this. I don't know if it was a pastor or somebody, but um we grow every day, right? So even though I was married 12 years, I met this man when I was in college, you know, I was not the same person that I was after 12 years of marriage. You know what I mean? Like, I was a
Right.
totally, I'm definitely still a totally different person. So the core of you is who you are, but life experiences change you every day. So one thing that I, you know, notice is that, you know, when you're in, even day to day, like, you have to almost fall in love with yourself each day, because each experience, like from the, like your past experience, from yesterday. It could have been anything. You could have seen, I don't know, you could have just seen something traumatic, a car accident. Anything could have happened yesterday. So I'm not the same person today after experiencing looking at what I saw yesterday. It's changed me in some way. So in a relationship, it's the same way. So with my husband, who's a police officer, I don't know what he's dealing with on the street that particular day. So I can't expect him to be that same person the next day. So it's almost like you have to give a person a chance to be who they are every day, and give yourself a chance to be who you are every day, because something's different. And with that process, you can't lose yourself saying, well, oh, I did this yesterday, this is who I'm supposed to be, and I like this shirt, so I got to keep wearing. No, you're something different. You might not even like that outfit no more in 2 days. It's okay. It's okay to evolve and grow
Hmm.
within a relationship, but just don't lose who you are trying to accommodate for somebody else. Meaning, I mean, just the, it's like simple things, even the way you comb your hair. It's just like sometimes you'll just get into a rut of, I got to do it just like this because he really likes this. I really got to do things like this because this is how he likes it. Or you don't have anybody. Well, the last guy didn't like me because I did this. I'm not going to do this. No, be who you are. And the right person is going to love you for who you are. Don't put yourself in a box. Again, that's the box that you would put yourself in. So just stay open-minded. Keep the jar open, because there's so many things that can necessarily flow in, and a lot of things can flow out. But when you start putting a lid on it, you block any flow of anything. God can't use you. You can't use yourself. You lose yourself.
Wow. That's good. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is the What He Really Wants Relationship Summit. I'm here with my special guest this morning. We're having Wisdom from Wives conversation because, yes, we're going to hear from him tonight, but I want you to hear from some awesome women who can help you get you together, because honestly and truly, if you're not whole, if you're not healed, you're going to draw someone broken to you, and it'll just be a broken mess. Now, let me just talk about me. My heart was broken. My head wasn't working right. And so I drew broken people to me. And it was a broken mess. It really was. So we're talking about some things that women should have in place. I say you position yourself so that you're in the position to receive the person that's going to do life with you. And I really like what you're saying. Now, see, when I was younger, I thought we'll be together. I never thought about change and growth as a daily process, but I just thought, okay, I'm trying to grow and mature and transform, and he's not. How do you maneuver in that space? Not realizing that for him, that could have been a slower process than it was for me, because I was that go-getter. I was that person, utilizing my gifts and things like that. So that's eye-opening for me, and that change is going to happen every day, and you should expect that, and you should accept the person and yourself, because I think we punish ourselves because, like you said, oh, I didn't do how he liked it, or I didn't fit into that box that you were talking about. And so there should be no box in any area of your life. No boxes. Who said that? Who wrote that rule?
We
So, yeah, we did. Absolutely. So, you guys, if you haven't shared the broadcast, please go ahead and share the broadcast. We're excited. We are having a wonderful conversation this morning with Ms. Diagi Hill, and she's talking about health and wellness, and just the woman that you need to be to have an effective relationship, first with God, and then with yourself, and then you can have that relationship with anyone else who fits into that. So let's talk about, now let's kind of fast forward a little bit. um and I don't want to, I'm always sensitive to the things that other people are sensitive about. So I don't know where your sensitivities lie as it relates to Patrick no longer being here. um I almost remember the day that things, happened, and I remember meeting you, and I remember, just wanting to be an assistance and a comfort for you and the children. I really was like, oh my goodness, these children, you have such beautiful children. I just love your family. I stalk you on Facebook, but I just I look at your children, and I go and I look at you, and I say, this woman is amazing to have faced some of the challenges. Now you faced another challenge that I want to bring you back next month that we can have a conversation about. But the challenges of being, I mean, you're young and having young children, and still needing to go on to help them be whole and healed, and continue on with their life, as well as losing what I imagine was the love of your life, you say your college sweetheart. So yes, how did you make it through that?
so the
So
so the thing is, prior to Patrick being injured, because he was injured April, he passed away October, 2013. So prior to that, he and I had both just started getting. We were always kind of spiritual, going to church or whatever, but we did a fast together. We were fasting and praying, and I think during that time frame, God did something for me, and God pulled me so close to Him that when things happened with Patrick, I almost can see it as I was holding God and looking at it with God, if that makes any sense. I didn't feel myself in the situation by myself. I felt like God was holding me as I was going through. But the key is, the only way that I got through that was because I put all my total trust in God. I believed in Him. I said, you know what? I said, I'm not sure what you got going on. I remember looking up and praying as soon as I got the call that Patrick had been injured. Because in my mind, it was like, Patrick is Patrick. He's so silly. He got shot in the hand, and we're gonna go home and it's gonna be all right. And I said, God, are you gonna, what's going on? We've been fasting and praying. What's happening? And God said, trust me. Whatever that feeling of trust me meant, I rolled with it, and I don't think I wavered. By the time we got to Henry Ford Hospital and all those police cars and people were everywhere, I still was kind of in the fog. I was like, okay, I'm not sure what this means, but this is a little bit bigger than probably what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
When they didn't walk me to the dead man's room, they walked me to the conference room. I'm very familiar with that. I work in medicine, and I know the dead man's room I didn't go to. So I said, okay, he must not be dead. And I remembered sitting in that room and just praying. And when that ER doctor came in and said, yeah, he's been shot in the head, it was like, okay, now I'm a physician assistant. I know what that means. Like, God, really? What am I supposed to do with that? And he literally said, trust me. And from that moment on, I did not have a fear. I didn't fear of anything. I feared of not knowing. So the not knowing was, is he going to come home and be okay? Is he going to make it through this? That was the unknowing thing. I was okay at first. I mean, I shouldn't say at first. I was okay with, he could come through this and walk and talk, and we'll talk about it later. He can be a vegetable for the rest of his life, or he could die. I knew all those things could happen, and I was at peace with all of them. It was the not knowing. I didn't know where God was going to end it. You know what I mean? I didn't know what the purpose was, but the only way I got through it was leaning on God with my entire being. When I say entire being, I mean, I did not look like what I was going through. People will look at me and say, you look good. I was spaghetti noodles on the inside, but God wouldn't let me look that way. And into surgery, came back out of surgery. Um, when he came out of surgery, he had to go back to surgery. And that was, I think, when the realization of, wait, he could really die set in. And I said, God, are you going to take him from me? And God told me, he said, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I didn't know where that was in the Bible. I didn't know what
Oh,
that
wow.
meant. I Googled it that night. And from that day, which is April 2nd to the 3rd to today, I've stood firm on that scripture. And you'll notice it'll be on everything, and everything.
Mhm.
No weapon formed. God promised me no weapon formed, which means that whether Patrick lives or dies through this, there's no weapon formed against me that's going to prosper to get me to stop believing in you. I believe that you're going to get me through this. I believe that there's a purpose and a plan in this. Just guide me through it. And that's where I stay. That's the only reason. And I think my children just kind of follow through with that same energy. And again, I still read Bible every day. I believe in health. I believe in mind, body, spirit, and space. So I teach that to my patients, and I'm clear on that. So I say that when I say that you have to have God first, and then the you is mind, body, spirit, space. So it's work. It's not like, oh, you can just focus on you a little bit. No, it's your mind. Are you depressed? Are you stressed? Is your work doing something? Do you see a mental health person? Your health. I mean, are you exercising? Do you eat right? Like, all that stuff matters. You've been to the doctor, you got a mammogram. If you ain't got none of that going, you're not right. And if you don't have a connection with God, meaning you don't really read your Bible, or you ain't praying every day, you're not healthy. So to try to even, you can't even attract a man, because again, God first, then you're not even taken care of yet. So I ain't even talked about your space. Is your space cluttered? Is it junky and messy? Do you got junky, messy people in your space? You're not about to attract nobody that's going to want to be in a relationship with you anyway. So the key is God first, then you being mind, body, spirit, space, then everything else will fall in place. Literally, it will.
Woo! That was good. That was good. Yes. Um, you said you cannot attract a man if you don't have you together. And yeah, because if by happen chance you meet your ideal person, you're gonna run them away. If say you have a good day and you got everything together, but if it's not your life, you're gonna run them away.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that women really realize that, or they just feel like, well, this is what I got. This is as good as it gets. So, oh well, that's my life. And no, it does not have to be your life. So, talk a little bit about how you help your clients get that alignment, because to me, that's alignment.
The biggest thing, and I sneak things in. So as far as like my class group, I do have a journal, and the journal, I literally wrote the journal. Just it was supposed to be like a paperback little book that I was gonna give to people in my office. And really what it was supposed to do is kind of introduce God in a little bit. So it's a scripture every day. You start off with a scripture, you kind of write your plan for the day, whether you got high blood pressure, diabetes, or whatever your issue, pain management, you write that down. What is it for you that day? And then you write what you eat. You write all the things that you eat. And then at the end of the day, you write your exercise for the day. And then you reflect back to the scripture. How did it work for you that day? Right. So the issue was, God told me, nope, decent and in order. When I kept trying to print it offline and just print it and not publish it, God would kept introducing people into me like, no, you got to get it published. So when I ended up getting it published, I said, okay, this is what I'll do then. And I still didn't know what to do with the book. But quarantine 2020 has really like, it's done planted seeds for some better things. I'm telling you, it's not all bad for me. I've learned a lot of stuff, but allowed me to do is have a platform where I can actually Zoom meet with people, and we can go over it, and we can use the book as a guide. But the biggest thing I tell them is it doesn't change. God first. There's no way that you're going to transform your body and your mind and anything if you don't put God first, because you have to realize that you're not in control. And when you can relinquish your control to God, you'll allow the man that wants to come into your life come. It's so weird, and it sounds so like easy, and I know it's yet hard, but the key is if he is your focus from number one, then you'll know what you need to do. Your energy with eating right and exercise and wanting to be better. And I'm not against anybody being overweight or anything like that, but I'm about health. So there's no way healthy with high blood pressure and you're taking a ton of pills and all that stuff. And you may even still lose weight or whatever, but what man wants to deal with that? Like, who wants to deal with somebody that's I gotta take you to the heart doctor, and it's all things that you could have controlled. You know what I mean? So it's not like you've got some type of physical ailment that God is just this is just your life. These are things because you're not eating right, because you want to drink 5 Pepsis a day. That's not fair. That's not fair to want a man to want to deal with something like that. So let me get myself together first. So I always tell them the biggest thing is I always bring God in first. And I can't tell you how many people within the last few years, just by going to God alone first, have done so much better. Their outlook is better. Their life is so much better. And then with that, it's like, hey, D, guess what? I've changed my diet. I'm doing a lot better. I'm actually drinking water. I actually had a client, a patient the other day. I could pay him to not drink a pop or do nothing else. And when I saw him, like, I've been doing good. I'm not drinking no pop, and my numbers are doing good. Absolutely, because God is first. You've realigned your. It's not about you anymore. Even with having a relationship, it's not about you. It's about what God wants for you. So if God wants you in a relationship, it's not so that you can just have these pictures to post on Facebook and have these cute little, oh my God, we got this big wedding. It's because God has a purpose for your relationship. And if you're not ready for his purpose with your relationship, you're not ready for the relationship. So get yourself together first, be in tune with God, and then everything else is going to fall right in place.
Oh, you said purpose. Yes. And today is the day about purpose. My speaker tonight is going to talk about dating with a purpose, because there has to be a purpose. There has to be strategy to what you're doing. And I mean, wow. He even has a book which, kind of parallels what you're talking about too, the inward journey first in your relationship with God, and then the other things fall into place. So purpose, yes, indeed. So I'm glad to hear that the pandemic was good for you. I know a lot of people, and my heart goes out to those that lost loved ones and really went through it. I have some very close friends that have gone through COVID and everything, and fortunately we're healed. Thankfully we're healed. As a matter of fact, one of my speakers, he went through it, and so um I I I I'm thankful for the blessings, but there have been deeper blessings for some of us through this time, because I know myself. I have a busy life. I'm on the go. As a matter of fact, you saw that because you and I tried to connect several times, and I probably do need to sit down and talk to you. But I think for some people it caused them to have to sit down and really, you weren't going nowhere. You wasn't out and about. You were there either with yourself, if you're single or you live alone, or you were there with that person. And so a lot of people really had challenge in that space. So talk about when you find yourself in a situation where you're alone with your thoughts. What's the best way to handle that situation from your perspective?
And when you say alone with your thoughts, you mean like having bad thoughts or what? Like what kind of thoughts?
No, just say the pandemic. You were there in that space and it was just you.
The biggest thing, the pandemic. Let me back up. And I said it was good to me. Let me back up. It was definitely tragic. I lost a few family members and things.
Okay.
Let me reiterate that.
Okay.
It was not all good as far as
Right.
bigger picture of the things that happened. Like people
Right.
being sick, people's businesses being shut down, and
Right. Right. Right.
my heart goes out to those people. Let me back up.
Yeah.
With everything that happened, I knew God's hands was on it immediately.
Yeah.
So I've lived it, right? So I've lived death, right? And then not just my husband, my mom passed away. So I've dealt with death. So don't get me wrong. But I know that God has a purpose in it, right? So again, the no weapon, again, pandemic, no weapon. I was Psalm 91 all through the beginning of the pandemic. I was
Yeah.
the plague. God said it's gonna come, but it ain't gonna harm you. You are right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because I have a purpose. I have a purpose for this. And my eyes just keyed in on God right away. So in my thoughts, when everything did happen, and I was like, I can't go no, I'm not going nowhere. Okay, we're not going to the store. It shut everything down. But when I did that, I prayed. Honestly, I was like, God, well, show me. Show me what it is I'm supposed to get out of this right now. And that was the time. Okay, you're still going to be working. You're still going to be doing ministry. You still help. I mean, I work at a methadone clinic. You're still going to help those patients. You're still going to do all these other things. And oh, by the way, that journal you had, yeah, we about to put it to work. It's like, oh, okay. And it was, I mean, it's so invigorating because one of the things is I love to work out. I work out faithfully. I work out. I try
Yes, you do.
that's something that helps me. That's my mental. I don't drink and drug. I don't do all of that stuff, but I
Mhm.
work out because it gives me the same endorphins that you get if you were going to get high or something. But what I realized is I needed to teach other people how to do that. So God gave me what I needed in those times of alone thought. So I don't ever think of myself alone, right? I always
Mhm.
God is with me and God is with.
Mhm.
So in those moments of the things get quiet, I say, God, speak to me. What is it that I'm supposed to do right now? Should I write something? Should I, is it another book in me? What is it that you need me to do? And those are the times when things get quiet because I never think I'm alone. I don't, and I'm not in a relationship or anything like that right now. I have the best relationship with God, and that's my man right now, and I'm okay with that. I'm content.
Mhm.
So the biggest thing is, what is it that you want me to do in this season? And I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm okay with being okay with myself and God.
That's awesome. And yes, being okay in that space. It took me a long time because I'm my mother's only child, so I grew up alone. So I always had dreams of having like 5 kids, a house full. And so as my life began to play out, those things didn't happen. And I found myself in 2009 where I was away from home. I didn't have family. I had some coworkers. I was doing a detail for work, but I had to embrace that space. Even having the relationship that I had with God, I mean, yes, it intensified it, but it was the relationship with Tisha that I wasn't
Right.
on board with. There were some things that I had not really dealt with. And so that alone time with yourself, because a lot of people, I know people who come in the house, they turn on TV or gotta have the radio on, they gotta have some noise, they don't embrace solitude. But in my opinion, solitude is the best thing that you can do, because you do have an opportunity to hear from God, and you get to know what voices is just you, what stuff is stuff you shouldn't pay attention to, and what really is the voice of Holy Spirit. So um that's amazing. That's awesome. And you're right, we are never alone. And if more women would realize that you're not alone, you know, I have a friend who has a ministry of people who desire to be married. And I've been listening to her teach about you're not single. The word single is not in the Bible. You're unmarried. The Bible don't talk about you being single, because single is just you. It's not just you, it's you and God, until you find yourself in a position where you are actually married. So um that is incredible to have that time and to use it to improve your own life. So you guys, I'm excited. This has been a great conversation. We're not done just yet, but if you haven't shared the broadcast, please go ahead and share the broadcast. I hope that you are getting some good nuggets. Dee is going to share how you can actually get her book and her journal, and it sounds like we need to do a party, a book party. Um, and so I'm excited about that as well. But definitely invite someone to this conversation. I know that we have some people in the Zoom room. Hey, y'all. Hey. Those of you on Periscope, if you're on YouTube, I appreciate you, and especially those on Facebook. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dee Morris said. It's a great conversation. Absolutely. I'm excited, and I've just been in a place where I just allow Holy Spirit to lead me. And so, my focus originally was just on having the conversation with the men, but I thought, yeah, that's not balanced. We need to do something else. So I'm glad that I heard your name, and I'm glad that you were available and that you're here today to help kick off this incredible event. I'm so excited, and looking forward to other things, in the future with you. I probably need to call you to get some things together. But you are my inspiration, and yes, I see you working out. I say she is getting it in. I should call her so I can experience that euphoria that you get from that. I don't know that. I'm a dancer, so yes, dancing, but I haven't danced in years. Like ballet, jazz, and tap, that kind of, not the pole. But yeah, I probably need to, and I know that's one of the missing pieces in my journey, that I need to become more active. So yeah, we're gonna have to talk after this is over. Let's see. Yep, no weapon formed. Absolutely. So We have just a few more minutes. And again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Y'all see, she said she had to go hide away because the children are uh home schooling. So she couldn't get in her special space. But I'm so thankful that you didn't let any of that stop you from joining us this morning. So tell them where they can get your book,
So the journal,
the journal.
it looks like this. It's nothing.
Okay.
It just says I am health and wellness 30-day journal and daily devotional. You actually can get it off of Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and I think that it's on Apple iTunes, but it doesn't make sense to get it off of Apple to iTunes because you actually need to write in the journal. So I would get it. Amazon is probably the best way. I know a lot of people get it within a couple of days. And it pretty much it gives a little bit of history about my story, but literally each day it's a 30-day transformation. So it's really for you to say, you know what, I'm about to start working out or whatever. I'm going to start eating better. And in the next 30 days, it'll work. I can't tell how many women that I've helped in these last since May. They are doing amazing. I have one girl who's down 36 pounds. I have another girl who's down another 30. Somebody's down 20. I think the least amount maybe like 6 to 10 pounds, but it's just, it takes basically within, um, she said, what's wrong with pole dancing? Nothing. If that's what
Nothing.
you do, right? But the biggest thing is you can get the journal and it's only it's like 13.95. It's not super duper expensive. But if you're interested in my group that I do monthly, we do it. We basically Zoom meet once a week. They, you know, we also do a group chat so that way we can kind of inspire each other through the menus and the diet planning. Because I give a diet each week that you would follow and also give you some tips on some different things that you can do to exercise to get physically active again. And it's pretty much just starts it's a start to a transition. So it's not just a quick 5 day, 30-day thing and you stop. This one girl has definitely been with me since January and continuous thing. It's really a life, it's really a lifestyle change. I just kind of show you how to incorporate it with healthy, doing it kind of easy, but doing it healthy. And then you're keeping track of it for your first 30 days. So, yep. Thank you. If you love the support, if you support it, if you wanted to email me after and contact me, Taisha, the information, but it's DIG Hill. So DEODGE and my last name, HILL at gmail.com. And I can, you know, I can chat with you. Or how to start a nonprofit, anything that I've done to help myself, I don't mind sharing information to help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I put your email in the comments. So if you want to email her, her email is there. And definitely go to Amazon and pick up that journal. Sounds like a great thing, and especially in transition, if you desire. And you know, I'm just of the opinion that if that's your desire to be married, then you can have it, but you want to have it right, you know, and I definitely know that you need to spend the time on you before you get into that relationship. And it's not to say that you'll be perfect when you meet him, because you'll still. I believe that when you come together with your divine partner, you still have some things to work out in each other, and you do that together. But you want to get rid of as much of the junk. I remember TD Jakes did a sermon series on the junk in your trunk and how you carrying around all this stuff is not the other person's responsibility to help you get rid of your junk. You need to do that before he comes. And so that's one of the things that I'm hoping that women will realize as a result of this conference, that yeah, get the man, but get you first.
Yep, yep.
Be in position to get the right man. Cause listen, I've been there on the other side. Get the right man. So any closing thoughts, anything that if they hear nothing else, you absolutely want them to walk away from this conversation with?
One big thing is I think that God is strategic in the way things happen. And then, you know, you do see friends and people who get married early and have kids and stuff. But if God has had you wait, you know, and you haven't had the relationship or the kids and haven't had all that stuff happen, God is strategic in his planning, and trust it. Trust his planning. And sometimes he just needs you to say, you know what, hey, if, um, this is how you have to be. And as soon as you're okay with just not having something else, I think he'll bring them. But I think he needs to know that you're okay with him first, you know? So the
Yeah.
biggest, what I've said all the morning, God first, then take care of yourself, mind, body, spirit, and space. And then I think once all those things are in order, your energy will start to attract the right things. And if it's not meant to attract anything, you'll know that and you'll be okay with it. But until then, you're gonna be chasing the wind because you're gonna be settling for anything, trying to meet time frames that don't exist and put people in boxes that shouldn't even be boxed up. So it's gonna be a mess. So be be thoughtful and thinking about God first. Put your energy into something else. Not saying that you shouldn't want to be married and you shouldn't want to be in a relationship, but don't focus on that so much. Take the focus. That's a distraction. That's the distraction. God is the you know, pinpoint focus on God. It'll make everything else be coming together with you and again with whomever's supposed to be in your circle and path. So be patient with yourself.
Awesome, awesome. And I do definitely believe that. I've heard a lot of people say that once I said, okay, God is me and you, or, you really get comfortable in that space that, and you take that focus, because it is a distraction. You take that focus off of that, then boom, he arrives. So Diagi, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you coming and stopping by and kicking off this incredible What He Really Wants Relationship Summit. I'm so honored that you would come and be here. You share some great information, and I'm sure, and by the comments, I'm sure that the ladies have taken away a lot. And so we're gonna end the broadcast and then go in the Zoom room in case there are questions. But if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, or you have just comments that you want to share with Dee before we get out of here. Again, thank you all so much. If you haven't shared the broadcast, go ahead and share the broadcast. And come join me tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central. We are going to have author and relationship coach, Mr. Omar Bogan. I spoke with him this morning. He's ready. He said he's ready. So I'm excited about that. So you can come back and join us tonight. Looking forward to it. Go to the link so that you can register bit.ly/, he wants 2020, bit.ly/ he wants 2020. It's going across the bottom of your screen. Register so you can get in the Zoom room and get the information. You'll join our mailing list and you'll have up-to-date information. If we make any changes, if we do anything special, you'll be on the list. So we're excited to have you join us tonight. And thank you so much for those who joined us today. CJ said this was amazing. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. And again, shout out to my business sisters. They got my back, my back, my side, and my front. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for holding it down and all that you do. And again, shout out to the most amazing coach on the planet, Danielle Winningham. Coach Danielle is coming. She's going to be with me tomorrow, actually. So you guys want to come back tomorrow morning to hear from Coach Danielle, and definitely join me tonight for the conversation about what he really wants. So again, Dee, thank you so much for being here. Looking forward to great and awesome things. And listen, you guys have a great and awesome one. Thank you so much. I will talk to you and see you soon.